have your molds lined up right next to where you are mixing. Because while you're mixing, as soon as you pour in that oil, that soap changes immediately. And you have to be ready to pour fast. Other oils, you can be like mixing and think, oh my word, is this thing ever going to reach trace? You can stand and mix for 15 minutes until it comes to this beautiful pudding. And then the next soap you do, that thing is going to seize as soon as you pour it in. So when I say your soap seizes, it means it's suddenly getting stuck. It will cease to pour. So that is why you also keep a backup mold. So if your soap has seized, you can at least pour it into a bigger mold. At a later stage, you don't have to throw it away. Once it has cured, you can cut it into pieces, you can grate it, and then you work up a brand new batch of soap. And you can add those grated pieces into your next soap. But always remember what you put in it. You know, if you're going to discard soap or keep it for later, what we do, if we have tiny little pieces of soap, we just scoop it up and we keep it in a sealed bucket on the side. And when we do soap for like cats and dogs and horses, we then do a batch that has very little to no essential oils. So it's almost like a plain soap. And then you're just pouring in all those grated little pieces into your new soap. And then it's a soap you can sell for pets. It doesn't mean that you can't use it. Humans can use it as well.
Just with these ranges or comedogenic.
Yes.
Or the higher. If we are at 5, what does it mean if we are at 1?
So 5 means it's got a high chance of blocking your pores.
So clog your pores, it's oily.
And 0 means it is non-comedogenic. It will not block your pores.
It's safe.
Yes. And zero comedogenic is also considered anti-comedogenic. So remember what I was saying? Oil dissolves oil. If you don't believe me, we just made oil into something that dissolves oil. So oil does dissolve oil. It cancels out different types of oil. And it's important to know in today's society, sorry, I'm walking, I might even take it away. So in today's world, a lot of chemicals are petroleum based. We have to be careful of petroleum and oil-based chemicals because those are the hugest contaminants in our body that our body does not eliminate very easily. So certain absolutely Vaseline. So again, this is a slightly political topic, but
We'll change your mind about Vaseline.
when you're in an industry like this, you have to understand the competition. You have to understand the landscape. You know, you can't just be in your own bubble and you're there making that hustle, and next thing the police is at the door. But I'm just making soap. You know, it starts out innocent, but as soon as the handcuffs come, then you're suddenly concerned about the regulation. So we have to always, you know, have a realistic view on our industry. We have to know what is the truth and what is the lie, because someone can come from Sasol and they'll say, you know, we have 5 tons of petroleum jelly. And you're like, yo, do you know how much lip ice I can make from 5 tons? And yo, you're thinking the money. But think of the damage, because petroleum jelly is a byproduct from the petroleum process. And now they've literally put, okay, that's a nice sludge. Put a label, sell it, and here we are massaging our babies, making them so slippery, shiny. So petroleum jelly is actually very poisonous. Our bodies do not need it. And there are so many beautiful plant-based alternatives which we use we create lip mousses. That is just so that we differentiate from what they call lip ice. And our lip mousse, we literally do almost a mini version of your body butter for the lips. So we do also do classes on lip mousses, on scrubs, on massage oils, on balms. So the whole thing that we do is personal care product workshops. So we teach you about certain ingredient knowledges so that you don't get duped by the industry, or just get caught up in the trend of what people are doing. Know why they do it, know the impact it has, because we could all jump on the bandwagon and be manufacturing baby powder according to Johnson & Johnson standards. They recently got sued, not recently, over a year ago, and the case got settled for $127 million. Because it was proving that Johnson & Johnson's baby powder causes cancer. So now we're all here in the baby snacking. So Africa has long been a victim of what we call medical and cosmetic dumping. So they create a nice niche market, interesting product in the USA, and then some scientist, clever person, or maybe even their competition, now goes and has this thing, analyzes this ingredient, and they're like, oh my word, there's melamine in baby milk. So then the USA says, you cannot sell it here on US soil. So they have tons and tons in stockpiles, which they then dump in Africa and Asia. We can tell all kinds of funny stories about even HIV. It came here in Bayer's aspirin. And anyone can arrest me for that. I'll prove it. So, and these big companies, when they get sued, they just morph and become another company. So Bayer began as Agent Orange. They were a military company. They actually started using these chemicals on human beings and experimenting on them. And there's a very famous type of chemo that